Yeah, it's way too much energy in that. In January 2022, I made these beers. Irish oil. I don't know if you could see it. It's kind of a Guinness clone. Very dark beer. I like this very much. But the problem with this one is that I don't think it finished the yeast process. So there's a lot of energy in this beer, and I will show you how much. And that's the problem with drinking this beer. When I open this beer, you can see what's happening. Yeah, it's way too much energy in that. And half of the beer is gone just by this foam. And of course you can collect it, as I do now, in the bucket here, and let it rest for, I don't know, half an hour or so. And then you get maybe 2/3 of the beer is still left. But that's a problem, and it's not enjoyable, and definitely not for guests or visitors. So the plan now is to pour every one of them. I have around 40, so that's around 20 liters. These are half-liter bottles. So, and I will try to let them just finish the yeast process and see if I can rebottle them after that and still get some foam maybe in a month or two when I open them. So the process now is just to open them, everybody, put them in the bucket here and let it sit and fall down, so to speak. And then I'll check it in a day or two if it's finished, and then rebottle them. And these labels here, I can show you later, but these are actually easy peel-off labels. This one doesn't go too well. You shouldn't get them wet before you do that. You should take them off when the bottle is dry. Otherwise it becomes more difficult. But still, it's pretty easy compared to other labels that are much more sticky. So all the beer goes in the bucket here, and I'll see if I can get everything out. There's still a lot of foam in here. I don't know how I will get that out, but we'll try. We have this bubbler, and I want to scald it. So just put it in here. Boiling water is ready. See if I can hit the small hole here. So this one is boiled, and then my brew bucket I also scald. It's been cleaned before that, and then I just scald it with hot boiling water. Scalding, I think it's called in English. Like this. And then give it a shake. And be careful of the hot water coming out. So now it's disinfected by scalding. Okay, bucket ready. So this one I'll try to peel off before I open it. And these are cold now, and it also helps when the bottle is a little warmer. But as you can see, it goes pretty smooth, and there's no residue left on the back here. So try this one as well. Maybe this time closer to the bucket. Yeah, you can see there's a lot of energy in these beers. Too much, way too much. So all of them goes into the bucket here. Okay, I don't know if you can see it, but one of them almost exploded up in my head. So my glasses is full of beer now, so I'll need to clean that up. So I'm trying to find a way to open these without getting too much outside of the bucket. But because of all the energy in the beers, it's pretty tough. So I can try to lift it a little bit first. But as soon as I pop off the what do you call that? The cap here, it will start coming up, and it's a lot of energy, way too much in these. I don't know what I did wrong, but apparently I got it bottled too early. I think this is the way. Just open it slightly to relieve the pressure, and then try to get everything inside the bucket. Oh my God. Yeah, that was the first 12 bottles, and as you can see, the bucket is almost full of foam now. So I'll have to wait a little bit until it settles in the bottom and the foam goes away. Maybe it will help stir it a little, and then I have 20 more bottles to go. Let me try with this one to see if I can get some of the foam out here, or maybe I'm just making it worse. I don't know. Yeah, it's like nothing happens. I maybe just energize it more with more air, so that doesn't help. Maybe slightly. Maybe I'm just introducing more air, so I think I will just let it sit for 10-15 minutes. See what happens. So, and in the meantime, I can remove all the other labels here. This is from Avery making a lot of labels, and you can buy these to put in your printer, and I can go over the design process afterwards, but it took me a while to find these. I tried with glue at first, and this wallpaper glue that should be easy to get off when you get it wet afterwards, but these are the best ones I found so far. So I'll put a link in the description to where to get these. And did I mention that I brewed these back in 2022? Maybe you can see it here. In January, I bottled these on the 9th of January, just after Christmas, New Year's. But apparently way too early. So I'll have to redo that next time. Let me remove labels here. So I think I found the best way to do this is to open them slowly and just let the most of the foam get into the bucket before I open it completely. So simply just letting out the gas here. And this one is strong. And when it kind of slows down, then just pour the rest of it out. And there's still a lot of foam back left inside the bottle here. So I'll put that in the basket over here and then let it sit also for 10-15 minutes maybe. See if I can get even more out of these bottles. So foam has settled a little bit now, but I'll keep going. Okay, last one of the bottles. And as you can see, there's a lot of foam now. But this is the way to do it. Trying not to spill outside the buckets. Oi! I was too eager there. So this is what happens. So I think I got a lot of cleaning to do afterwards. So there's still a lot of foam left in the bottles, but I'll see if this settles a little bit more as well, and see if I can get even more out of these bottles. So in the meantime, I was checking my notes from when I made the brew, and actually I made a mistake or somewhat on the label here. As you can see, as I wrote 2022 and 01.09, so I read that's the 9th of January. Here in Denmark, we usually put the month first and then the day afterwards. But when I check my notes down here, I can see it's actually in August I started, and then I bottled these in the 1st of September. So that's the other way around. So actually it's been sitting there since 2022 September, and now it's May 23. So 3/4 of a year, something like that, and it hasn't settled. I had hoped it would have settled after half a year, just standing still, but still it's way too much energy in there. So also we can see here I measured the original gravity and the finished gravity and tried to calculate the percentage of alcohol. By the recipe it should be 4.2, and I would like to check now if where we actually at now when it's been sitting in the bottle for 3/4 of a year. So let me take a measure of that. And for that I have this refractometer. The way you calculate it is you take the original gravity when you first made the brew, and then you subtract that from the final gravity, and you get a number, and you divide that by 7.5. That's the formula. And you can see here by the recipe, it should be original when you brewed it, 1042, and when you finished the fermentation process with the yeast, it should be down to 1011. So 31 divided by 7.5 should be 4.2% of alcohol. So that's the way to measure it. So I'll try to take a sample of the beer now and use this refractometer to see if I can get a measure of where it's at now when I just took it out of the bottles. So I'll need a small sample. Need to go all the way down to the beer and get something up into the pipette. And then I put something on here, just a couple of drops, and try not to get too much air into it. And close the refractometer. And then you just put it to the eye and see what the number is. You can see it's sitting just above 20. It's a middle scale we're looking at. I would say 20, 22 maybe. So the 6th of May, 23, it's now 1022. So compared with the 42 originally, so it's down 20, not even 30 yet. So there's still way too much sugar in that, and that is of course the reason why I took it too early. I don't know what I made with the measurements at that point. It's actually only 32 here, so that's only 10 down. So I don't know why I bottled it at that time. But so compared to this, let me calculate. So the 1042 minus 1022 is 20, divided by 7.5 is 2.6% alcohol inside here. So not even close to the 4.2 that the recipe says it should be. So let me try to see if that gets better with letting it settle just for a couple of days. So the foam has settled very much now. Just see if I can get the rest down here. Hopefully we can get something more out of these bottles. Yeah, there's a lot more there. So the last one of the remaining in the bottles is in a brew bucket now. foam has settled significantly. There's still some there. So now I'll actually just put on the lid. And then we put on the bottler. There's this small rubber ring that sits in here. And then the bottler itself, fill it halfway up with water, like this, maybe a little less. Like this, and then put it in here. And this way we can keep an eye on if it still is active, if bubbles still are coming out. So you can see when the gas comes up here, it needs to be tight. When you press the lid here, you should see that air is coming this way up, or gases, and it should be bubbled through so no bacteria or anything comes back down into the bucket. So I think I'll put this in the house, and we can see now how much I got. I got 16 liters. You can see it down here. 16 liters. That's perfect. Out of the 33 bottles, I think that's okay. Originally it was around 20 liters. So, but I drunk a couple of the beers, so tried to get it, tested it once in a while if it's okay. So now we're down at 16 liters, and we'll try to see if we can save this. So I'll put it in the house to sit for a couple of days, and then rinse and clean the bottles.